Good evening, family. How is everybody doing on this lovely Tuesday? I don't know where you are, but it's a little dreary out here. It's a rainy night in Virginia. But we are all right, okay? Because I tell you what, the literacy game can stand the rain, all right? So we are here to enjoy ourselves tonight. Boy, you guys, our Virtual Village 2020 influencers have been doing such a good job as hosts. And you have not seen Ronnie and I up here as much. So coming back up here is actually quite refreshing. Although I really, really love watching them host and they do a great job. I'm glad to jump back in here and be able to see you guys. So I hope you all are having a wonderful evening. And we were having a debate about whether or not this is week 14 or 15. I'm gonna have to go back on my calendar and actually kind of figure that out because I was doing a very good job of keeping up with the weeks. And then just like that, I lost it. So it's either 14.
14. I think it's 14.
It's 14.
I think it's 14.
Okay. We'll come back the next time and we'll have an exact count for you, okay? But it just like that, it left me, it escaped me because y'all know I was 1, 2, 3. I was the count, okay? But anyway, again, I'm so happy to be here, guys. We have been pushing this culturally affirming literature, and it's really been great convening with you guys around this wonderful literature and building up this family. Mr. Jordan, what is going on with you? What is up with you? How you feeling?
Just ripping and running. I'm doing all right. I'm like you, trying to adjust to these weather changes and have me wheezing half the time. But, I think I'm good for the moment. So look forward to the sunshine coming back. But, that's Hampton Roads weather.
It is. But it's a beautiful day to be alive. And it's good to have you here and to have these wonderful young people who have been here with us. And it's good to have this too. How about this?
Look, mommy, community in action. What on my little sound of that? Look, daddy, there's a book for me too. What on my little sound of that? Creative, affirming, and culture for me too. Look, granny, a little sound of that. Look, granny, a little sound of that. Look, granny, a little sound of that. Learning and exploring my history, you see. Look, mommy, a little sound of that. We confident, we practicing the code of fluency. Look, daddy, a little sound of that. Families, they bonding, they representing me. Look, granny, a little sound of that. Look, I'm see a little sound of that. Nice, I see a little sound of that. So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while we represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers to leaders, they hold it down where they have to sit. So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while you represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers to leaders, they hold it down, yeah, they have to sit. Look, mommy, community in action. Well, on my little sound of that. Look, daddy, there's a book for me too. Well, on my little sound of that. Creative, affirming, culture for me too. Look, granny, a little sound of that.
Look, mommy, I love the sound of that. Forever loving the sound of that. Uh-oh. Who do we have here?
My brother who popped down from Washington, D.C.
Hi there. How are you doing?
Yeah.
I forgot.
He's so silly.
What did he say?
He said he forgot to wear his mask.
You gotta wear one around that one. We don't know where all he's been. I the mask up around that one. Yeah,
he's up there in DC. No telling what he brought down here.
Well, good to see you. What's your brother's name?
If he stay in the camera, I'll tell you. So his name is William, but we call him Howard, but his name is William.
Well, how are you doing, William Howard? Good to have you here. Are you familiar with this gang that your brother is a part of?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, we are glad to have you here and make a guest appearance. I see you all dashkikied up, looking down back there.
That's his standard fare. So.
Okay. Now, are you also a historian as well? Because I've caught some of you in some of Rodney's posts, some of the things, because I just really geek out over all the history that Rodney knows. And I've seen you in some of these things too. So are you also a historian?
Yeah, that's my side habit.
Okay.
So he's the one that's been working all the family tree. And
Okay. How long you gonna be around here?
For a few days.
Oh, okay. I was trying to see if he was going to be around for, our little upcoming soiree that we have, but
no, he pops in once every 6 to 18 months or so.
Can we get him to read tonight?
Mm-mm. Well,
Can we get him?
I was sitting there looking because I was trying to see, if I had my Marcus Garvey book around, but I might drag him into reading something before he heads down to our parents' house. So I'll see. We'll work on it.
Okay, well, I'm asking you, inviting you
Robert the
personally.
Rose Horse.
Oh Lord.
What did he say?
Robert the Rose Horse.
So we're working on culturally affirming literature. Then my brother comes down here, and he's gonna start telling y'all stories about when I was growing up. And every night I used to have my mother read Robert the Red Rose Horse. So every night that was the book that she had to read. So now all these jokes and family stories and all this stuff going to be coming out. So
Put
that's
him
what
out
he's
there.
talking about.
Come on, bring it on. Bring it on, William. Put it out there. Tell us all about it, okay? We need you back here, all right? But look, before you go, we would love to have you to come and read. If you can't do it tonight, we'd love you to come up here and read before you go so that we can officially induct you into our literacy gang, okay?
Well, I would love to read from Washington, D.C., so maybe I can chime in a couple times from Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. We're a virtual village, so there are no parameters, no boundaries, so that works too.
So you will quickly see that how you all tease me about how I pick on folks. You will quickly see that there's some family thing going on here. So as I keep trying to tell folks, that's just how we show love in the Jordan family. We pick on each other. So
ain't nothing wrong with that. That's how we do it in the culture. So that is all good. That is all good. So, well, look, we're going to pick up some comments that we have right here because the gang is in session. All right. The gang is here. Shania says, good evening.
Oh, you can watch. Go ahead.
Shania said,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wait, what's going on? What did he say?
Go right ahead. I was telling him he's excused unless he just wants to stand over my shoulder. So go right ahead.
This is amusing. So Shania says, good evening. We are happy to see this. Good evening. Shania, I look for this for you as first comment every time. So know that we are so glad to see you. Okay. I'm always happy to see that one. And then we have Ray. How you doing, Ray? Good evening to you. And baby L, I hope you all are doing well. Eric, so good to see you. Hey, don't forget, we're still trying to get you up here with that trombone shorty. Okay. Okay, we want to have you. And then we have Miss Crystal, who she has her own identity. She's a dynamic woman doing great things for our youth and community, but she is also Chancellor's mommy, Chancellor, the 4-year-old reading champion. So glad to see Crystal here. And then we have Ray said, bro is putting Rodney on blast and started loving it. Y'all caught that? I am like McDonald's, I'm loving it. Okay. So yes. So we are loving this dynamic duo, you guys. Did we know we were gonna, what would be great if I could get the heck off of the screen and these two could read. That would be wonderful. Just let me step away and you two read. That would make everybody's night. So perhaps we can try to get that a brew, and I'm gonna see what I can do behind the scenes, you guys. Okay. But we have our first reader coming up tonight, and it's someone we all know and love. One of the most creative young minds I have ever had the opportunity to run across, and somebody who you need to know now, because if you don't get on this train right now, you're gonna feel bad when this train is going and lifting all around the world. So I suggest you get on this Gen Uno train while I welcome to you guys our fantastic Virtual Village 2020 influencer, the young Mr. Paul Casso.
Brother Paul.
Hello, everyone.
Hi there, youngin. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How are you doing, Miss Star?
I am doing great and so glad to see you here. It always brightens up our day. So what's been going on with you?
Nothing much. I just reached 400 subscribers on YouTube, and yeah.
Awesome sauce. Okay, tell us about that.
So it was earlier today when I reached for. I just woke up and I looked at my phone. I was like, oh wow, I got 400 subscribers now.
Hey. Congratulations. Let me give you that high five through the screen. Yes, yes. Let's do it on the black hand side. You don't know about that, but give me the five on the black hand side. All right. Yes, yes. That is wonderful. Congratulations to you, youngin. I told y'all I can't do it when y'all not grown yet. I can't say young man, young woman, y'all are still children, y'all are still youth. And this world needs to understand that you are in training of becoming that, but you still a youngin, and it needs to be recognized. So anyway, again, we are excited to have you here. So glad that you have reached that many subscribers in such a short period of time. We see your grind, your hustle, that you are working hard. Tell everybody a little bit about you as a Virtual Village 2020 influencer and what you guys are working on.
Okay, so currently we are working on our next show, and it will be a very interesting topic.
Oh yeah, don't tell.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a very interesting topic, and we're going to speak more elaborate. We always set the bar high each show, and so we're basically a group. We are a family, and we will work together to help enlighten the community.
Yes, and you guys have been doing a great job. Every Wednesday, I'm tuned in with my favorite snack. For real, like I'm running around. I tell people, look, I got to get off this call. I got to get off that. Y'all got to leave me alone. My favorite show is coming on. I got to get my snack and kick my feet up and tune in so these young people can tell us what it is. So that is wonderful. So you are going to be reading for us tonight, and that's what everybody wants to see. So tell us, what are you going to be reading?
Tonight, I will be reading Stat by...
And what does that stand for?
Standing Tall and Talented.
And it's by whom?
Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah. So he's a former basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he has this series called Stat. Standing Tall and Talented. And so it's a great little chapter book when the youngins get ready, when the babies want to read chapter books. This is one we always make sure that we put into the schools. So now, Paul, do you have any experience with basketball? Can you hoop?
I mean, I got a couple of moves. I could like hit a little crossover, not shoot a little shot, but that's about it.
You do your thing, you do your little thing. Okay. Well, we're going to step back and let you do your thing with this book, because everybody who is tuned in, y'all know y'all want to hear me. Y'all want me to shut up, and y'all want to hear Paul Casso read. So I'm going to step away, and so is Rodney and William, and we're going to let Paul do his thing. William, don't you go anywhere. All right.
All right, everyone. So today I will be reading Stat. Here's the front little page. So here we go. Okay, so Chapter 1. The wheels of the skateboard made a rumbling hum as they rolled over the pavement in Little Town Park. I loved that sound. The world rushed by me as I zipped across the blacktop. I could feel how smooth and rough it was right through my sneakers. And it was like I was watching the park and fast forward. The greens and browns of the grass and trees flashed on my sides as I kept my eyes on the little concrete path in front of me, looking for the next good flat spot. I was trying to get this one trick down, but the board wasn't cooperating. It slipped from under me again and went bouncing across the ground. That had been happening to me a lot. Wait, let me read that sentence over. That had been happening to me a lot lately, and I knew why. I'd had a big growth spurt this year. We were talking like my pants from before looked like shorts on me now. I was definitely the tallest 11-year-old in my neighborhood, and it could be pretty tough to keep all my long limbs going in the same direction as those four little wheels. Wait, I read that kind of weird. Okay, so it says, and it could be pretty tough to keep all of my long limbs going in the same direction as those four little wheels. Put it this way, when I bent down to pick up my board, I had to bend a long way. I was trying to do an ollie What you do is pop the board in the air while you're riding it. If you do it right, it's like you're jumping with the board glued to your feet. Pretty cool. I was I was still only doing it right about half the time. So I stayed on the path and worked on it a little longer. My jumps were getting a little bit higher, and I decided to head for a bigger stretch of pavement to work on them. Hey yo, I heard around the corner. I thought I might be in trouble, but when I looked up, I could see it was just the opposite. It was just my friend, Mike. He was on the park's old basketball court with our friend Deuce. What's up? I called. Um, this was our local court, and the three of us had just spent whole days playing here together. So I guess here is Amari doing the ollie, well, attempting the ollie. As I kicked my board into a little a little walkway that led to it, they went back to playing one-on-one. I could see by the way they were moving, they'd probably been out for a few hours already. They were going a little slower, and I could see the sun shining off some sweat on their foreheads. Deuce never went too slow for long. I was almost to the court when I saw him give Mike a shoulder fake and turn on the Jets. He was at the hoop in a heartbeat. Deuce wasn't a big kid, but he was fast. His first step was like a striking cobra. "Where'd you go?" Mike shouted as Deuce turned the corner on him. "Disappeared," said Deuce. And once he laid the ball up and in, disappeared, said Deuce. Once he laid the ball up and in. "Don't you know I'm magic?" "I know you're lucky," said Mike as he took the ball out. Right away, Mike started backing his way in toward the basket for an easy shot. Mike was almost as tall as me and much taller than Deuce. I was walking forward to overhearing some good trash talk. It was Deuce's best defense, but Mike caught sight of me at the edge of the court and picked up his dribble. Well, said Mike. Look who finally made it. Get over here, Mari." "Yeah, get over here and help me D up this clown," called Deuce. "Neither of you can stop me down low," bragged Mike. The sun was getting kind of low now, but come on. That was a direct challenge. I had to accept. It'd be good as long as I got home in time before dinner. My dad definitely had some ground rules, and being home on time was right up there at the top of the list. I don't know how much he had paid for his watch, but whatever it was, he got his money's worth because he was checking it. He was always checking it. He was never late himself, so he expected the same for me. He was fair though. He was fair but tough. All right, I called. Like I said, it was a direct challenge, and I was hoping it wouldn't take too long to win. "I got this, no problem." "This kid's cocky for a skater," said Deuce. I had to laugh. I walked right into that one. Deuce and Mike high-fived and waved them off, and I waved them off. It was good to see my friends. It was good to see my friends. Mike bounced a skip pass to me as I stepped onto the court. I sprinted over and took the ball at a full run. A few dribbles and I laid it up. They let me take a few shots to warm up, but when I bricked my third jumper, Deuce swooped in and grabbed the rebound. "What were you doing all this time?" he said. He zipped by me dribbling low like he always did. He had a good handle and hated turning the ball over. Working on a trick, I said. I was over where those flat paths come together. It's pretty good for skating. He nodded. Lake Wales, Florida was a really small town. We all knew it pretty well by now, and we probably knew every inch of this part. The paths I was skating on are the same ones where we used to ride our bikes. But that didn't mean Deuce accepted my excuse. We've been here since school got out, he said. There were some other kids too. They were pretty good. We could have used your skills, man. I put my hands up for the ball, but Deuce passed it to Mike instead. Mike changed one off. Oh, Mike clanged one off in the front of the rim. But the rebound went right to him. He drained a shot from the same spot. Then he looked over. There were already 3 dudes from our class when we got here, so we had to play 2-on-2, and I wound it up sitting out twice, he said. You know I hate sitting out. It was true. Mike loved to play basketball so much that he got really annoyed when he had to sit out and watch other people do it. Sorry, Mike, I said. I held my hands up again and he passed me the ball. If that was right after school, I was still doing my homework anyway. Man, Amari, said Mike. I don't know why they stuck such a nerd brain into a baller body. Deuce laughed. What are you laughing at? I said. You study more than I do. That's right, he said. They don't put just anyone on the honor roll. Yeah, I said. I'm on a roll with my homework and on a roll when I skate. They both laughed at my joke. Well, okay. Maybe it was more like they groaned. All right, high roller, said Duke. Let's see if you remember how to get that thing in the hoop. They both got down into defense positions in front of me. Mike clapped his hands a few times. Bap, bap, bap. I dribbled the ball hard in response. Bump, bump, bump. We may have gotten off to a late start, but it was game on. I dribbled hard to the left to get Deuce in between Mike and me. With the smaller defender on me, I raised up and drained a rainbow jumper. The ball clipped the back of the metal rim as it banged through the hoop. I loved that sound too. I got really into the game after that. It wasn't until we finished that I realized how long we'd been playing. Oh man, I thought, I'm going to be late. I looked up at the sign just above the treetops. It was like I was looking at my dad's angry face staring right at me. I had to get home now. That's chapter 1. Do I proceed to read?
Wonderful. That was great, Paul. Okay. That was really wonderful. You did a great job of bringing stat to life. Because I'm going to be honest with you, okay? I've put a lot of stat books into schools, but I haven't really delved into all the stat books myself. So you gave me some insight into what's going on with stat. I've skimmed them. What did you think of it? Can y'all hear me?
I think Paul is frozen.
He froze.
Like,
they've been freezing a lot today, and they freeze in a frame where you can't tell at first because it was just like, let me tell you something. I had a Zoom call with the influencers earlier, and Ayana froze like this. And I was like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, I was like, what happened? And it was just she was frozen. So
Yeah.
you get used to the frozen life when you are doing a bunch of virtual programs.
For a minute, I thought he was just focused so hard that
Sometimes you can tell right away that they're frozen, and then sometimes you're like, wait, what's going on?
yes,
So
we'll see if he makes it back. You'll
he'll
probably
be
have
back.
to disconnect and come back on again.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he knows. They know what to do. They're pros at this now. They produce and create content, and he's up to 400 subscribers, so he definitely knows how these things go. So but anyway, we are super proud of Paul. He did a wonderful job reading that book, and I found it to be interesting. I think it's something that a lot of our youth can relate to, a lot of little boys and girls. So I found it to be interesting. I'm gonna go up here and grab some comments from our villagers. Um, so Shania wished Paul a good evening. We have Ray who said, "Congratulations, Paul Casso," and then Demetrius said, "From what is he reading?" So he is reading a book called Stat, and that stands for Standing Tall and Talented, and it's by Amari Stoudemire. And so he has a series of those Standing Tall and Talented books. So they are like early chapter books. So definitely get these in the collection for the little brown boys and girls and any boys and girls who you have in your life. Clever Communities in Action said, "Great job, Paul." And let's see what else we got going here. Ray says, "Great job, Paul. That's playground lifestyle." And Crystal says, "That's right. Education is important with the love at the end." And then Patrick, who is our brother in literacy, he says, "Great job, young brother." We appreciate that, Patrick, and all the work that you are doing when it comes to our youth and literacy. We have Paul back. Paul is missing his love. So I got to run that back, y'all. Okay. So be patient with us, but I'm going to run it back because it's his love and I want him to hear it. Okay. So let's see, Paul. Can you hear us? Are you here? Are you unfrozen? Have you thawed out?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Paul has thawed out. He is back with the heat. So we are going to go through these. Again, Shania said, "Good evening, Paul Casso." Ray said, "Congratulations, Paul Casso." Demetrius was inquiring about what you were reading, so I already told him. Clever Community said, "Great job, Paul." And Ray says, "Great job, Paul. That's playground lifestyle." And then Crystal says, "That's right. Education is important with the love at the end." And then Patrick was so motivated by you reading it. He said, "Great job, young brother." And then we have Crystal again who says, "Fabulous reading, Paul," with the cheers, the blows, whatever you call the thing is I forgot at the end. A lot of love that you get there. So you did a great job. What did you think of the book?
I enjoyed the beginning of the storyline where it basically broke down what Amari was doing in the beginning, like how he was practicing skateboarding and his friends, the connection with his friends, and how they said that he's lost his skill and now he's taking the challenge. And it's just showing how fun it was in that community. So yeah, I liked it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for bringing those words to life for us. Rodney, did you have anything you wanted to share with the young brother?
No, I appreciate his reading and the selection, and look forward to hearing more. So
Yes, yes, definitely. We look forward to hearing more. And if you guys like what you heard, which I know you did, you want to be here at 7 p.m. tomorrow because that's when the teens take over, when our influencers take over and they do their show. And my goodness, okay, like we wanted to do something that was Teen Summit esque. Y'all, I'm good for adding an esque onto something where it doesn't belong, but we wanted something Teen Summit esque, and boy, did look! They exceeded Teen Summit. Like I didn't think that was possible, but yeah, they did. So it's lively, it's informative, it's timely, it's educational. It touches your heart, your emotions. It's all of the things that you would want in programming. So support them and tell somebody who knows somebody about it. 7 p.m. tomorrow on Clever Communities in Action. So you guys, not you guys, it's Paul right now, not the whole group. So Paul, thank you. Is there anything that you would like to share before you leave us?
Just make sure to tune into Teen Takeover tomorrow, and don't forget to purchase some merchandise.
Hey, all right. Well, thank you. Thank you again. It was so good to have you. And I look forward to tuning in to you and your team tomorrow. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
All
you.
right. You have a good evening.
All right.
Paul Casso. Yes, yes, y'all. That is Paul. He did a great job. He always does. That is our little artist there. Our artist, our animal lover, our just a beautiful spirit who, we definitely protect and love, and we're glad to have him up here reading. And again, they are coming with the lightning and the thunder and all of that tomorrow. So I suggest you get your favorite snack and you'll be ready to tune in. You understand? You understand. If you miss out, well, that's what you did. I am actually laughing because Paul Casso just told us he has to go do the dishes. So anyway, you guys. So typically, I give y'all a little hint about me. When my background is green, that means I'm gonna read. So y'all see the green background today. So unless Mr. Jordan, did you have something?
Well, so I've been scrambling around, and I think one of the last times we were up here, and I was reading from the Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. And while Paul was reading, I was running around scrambling because I knew I had found my book at some point. So I found my book that I had shared with some of you all before. And at some point, whenever you're ready, I might share a few items from the Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, or Africa for the Africans.
Okay, I think we both can do that. I think I can
Okay.
read and then you
Okay.
can. I'm gonna make mine snappy. I think mine should be quick, and mine is a little lighthearted. Okay, I'm
Okay.
gonna read to you guys. I'm a pretty little black girl.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and then Mr. Jordan is gonna come back and do his thing. All right.
Go for it.
All right, y'all. I'm a pretty little black girl. I love this one. I love, 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 love this one. All right. I have actually purchased this one, turn it around the right way, for my niece. As you can see, it's been through some things. All right. I have a lot of books and some of them travel with me. And woo, 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 we got some tech. Wait a minute. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get my lighting right. Okay. All right. And in the midst of that, I almost lost my little laptop here. We don't want that to happen. I need y'all to be able to see the pages. I need y'all to be able to see the pages. Okay. Ooh, well, that would have been interesting. All right. Okay. Okay. So I'm a pretty little black girl, and this one is by Betty K. Bynum. All right. I hope y'all can see me. I feel like the lighting is off here, but we're going to get this thing done. All right. I look in the mirror, and on some days, my hair is just a going every which ways. And when I see myself in the mirror, I twirl and I yell, I am a pretty little black girl. Look at that. Look at her twirling. Look at that exclamation. Look at that declaration. Okay. I start to dance because nobody's looking. I dance like crazy. The only thing that stops me is the smell of something cooking. I eat, grab my school books, and I start right out the door. But before I leave, I stop to see myself from head to floor. I laugh and spin again with a great big dizzy twirl and say, yes, I am a pretty little black girl. Hey, okay, okay. I walk with friends to school. Our noisy steps are clucks and clatter. Our other friends are waiting there as we all chirp and chatter. At our secret meeting place, shh, the flowers by the wall. I glance at each girl's happy face. Look at all those faces. I glance at them all. My friend Kaya is tall and tan. My friend Keisha is the color of pecan. My best friend Charlotte is like milk and coffee. Look at all these pretty girls. Look at all these beautiful girls in all of these shades and look at their talents. Look at the things that they are doing. Dina Rosa Marie is the color of toffee. Imani in my class is like sweet dark chocolate cream. Her magical smile glows like she was kissed by moonbeams. Active Anna's hair is red with twists and crinkly spun. She is just about almost color, a sprinkling cinnamon. When Ruby sings, her head moves, so her braids just sway and swag. Her dark eyes shine like marbles in a brown paper bag. Oh, the imagery. Tracy is the color of a buttercup daisy. It is her honey-colored hair that drives bees crazy. But all of our colors blended into one make us pretty black girls, and we have our fun. We all join hands like a chain no one can break. How powerful, how beautiful. We might skip and laugh, play jack rocks, jump rope or roller skate. If one of us falls, the other one picks her up. If one of us cries, the other uses her dress hem to dry the tears up. Wow. Wow. We come in all shapes and sizes, skinny, short, or round. And like a special rainbow, we're different shades of brown. We say please and thank you. That's how we spread love around. I think of what pretty is and this is what I find. Pretty also means to show good manners all the time. When we are still and quiet, I just think of all of us. I think of all of us and hope that we will always be good friends that never roll their eyes or hate or fight or fuss. Oh, unity and sisterhood starting at a young age. Because Tanner Pecan or Buttercup Daisy or Sweet Dark Chocolate Cream or anything in between, we're going to grow up to show the world some brilliance it ain't never seen. Okay? See you all tomorrow. Bye. 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 At the end of my day, right before I go to bed, all my friends' smiling faces start to flash inside my head. My legs then start to fidget like they're happy to sleep. So I jump out of bed because now the happy's in my feet. My mom yells, Mia, sweetheart, it's time to go to sleep. But I dance and twirl again as if all my friends were there. My going every which ways, fluffy, curly, twisty, bouncy, springy hair. Oh. Then I stop a while, take a long breath and slow my pace. I take a long, long look at my nutmeg-colored face. For a moment, then I stare, I think, and make a frown. My clothes all crazy round my waist, my socks all falling down. Then I laugh out loud at myself, stretch out my arms and make a bigger twirl, spinning faster, yelling louder. Y'all know what's coming? I'm a pretty little black girl. Hey, yes, I love this. Let me see. Let me get it right. Y'all know we told you the pages are weird for us, the side. Okay. Boom, there it is. That's the shot I want. I'm a pretty little black girl, and there are all her friends in all the beautiful shades. Look at that. Look at that. I enjoyed this one thoroughly. Yes, and we have put this one in quite a bit of our schools as well. So I suggest to you guys, if you don't have this in your collection, that you add this into your collection for your summer reading for the pretty little black girls in your life. Okay, so that is I'm a Pretty Little Black Girl by Betty K. Bynum. Make it happen, family. Make it happen. All right.
Yeah, great reading, great book.
Thank you. Yeah, I enjoyed this one.
Yeah, we could tell you put the passion into that one.
For all the pretty little black girls out there and the pretty little black girls who've grown up to be pretty black women. And I just love the fact that it's all of these positive self-affirmations and affirmations to one another, loving all these shades of brown that we come in and teaching the little girls at a young age to support one another and that all of our shades are beautiful. So again, summer reading.
That's right. It's important.
Yes, yes. So that's mine for tonight, Mr. Jordan. What do you have?
Oh no, you and Paul, y'all reading young children's books and all upbeat. I don't know if I need to go back and read some of the 44 or bring Marcus Garvey on. I'm not sure, but let me share just a little bit of about this Marcus Garvey piece, and then maybe I will read one of the 44 that deals with Marcus Garvey. So, we were talking, I think one of the last times we were up, I forgot how we got on the subject, but I think, was it Paul, Jameer, or you? We had someone who was up, we were reading on the Harlem Renaissance. And I think,
yes, it was Q.
That's right. Yes. And then it took us down a path and we started talking about Harlem Renaissance. And I think I pulled out this book here by Henry Louis Gates, Dark Sky Rising. And there was a portion in here that also dealt with the Harlem Renaissance. And then we just, got on one of the little paths that we were on. But this book, and you have to forgive all these papers in it, shows you how long I've been missing it, because I found the mail in here from April 2006.
Okay.
I guess Councilman Paul Riddick must have been doing some type of concert at the Addicts Theater back in 2006, came across that. But nonetheless, this book is titled The Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, or Africa for the Africans. It's compiled by one of his wives, Amy Jacques Garvey, with a preface by Tony Martin. And interestingly enough, this was a centennial edition, 1887 to 1987. So this was compiled in the 1986 time frame, as they were working on the centennial edition of this compilation. And I had shared with many of you that Tony Martin had written several books about Marcus Garvey. So inside of the cover, there's actually something called the New Marcus Garvey Library. And so there were several books. There were, at this time, 9 books that were written as part of the library. There was Literary Garveyism, Garvey, Black Arts in the Harlem Renaissance, The Poetical Works of Marcus Garvey, Marcus Garvey Hero, a First Biography, Amy Ashwood Garvey, Pan-Africanist, Feminist, and Wife Number 1, African Fundamentalism, a Literary Anthology of the Garvey Movement, The Pan-African Connection from Slavery to Garvey and Beyond, Message to the People, The Course of African Philosophy, and Race First, the Ideological and Organizational Struggles of Marcus Garvey and the Universal Negro Improvement Association. And then this was the 9th book, The Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. So I think what I will do is, in here there are several speeches that have been compiled of Garvey. So I'll read a few of them, and then I'll read something from the 44. And you don't have to disappear. You can stay on if you want to. That's up to you.
I'm gonna let you have your full.
Okay. All right, go get your water break. So this speech is entitled "The Negro as an Industrial Makeshift." Now, I think we need some context, because I've noticed with all of the conversations that are going on in the world today, Confederate monuments coming down, names being changed. I saw someone was asking whether or not we need to change the name of schools that are named after Booker T. And Star and I often talk about when we have these conversations, it's good to have some context. So first, let me give you just a little bit of context. So Marcus Garvey was born in 1887, passed in 1940. This collection that I'm reading from was first published in 1923 and then again in 1925. So I just want you to have some context of the era. So we were not too far away from Emancipation, not too far away from Reconstruction, and in the midst of the early portions of Jim Crow. So this first speech, The Negro as an Industrial Makeshift. The Negro's prosperity today, limited as it is based upon the foundation laid by an alien race that is not disposed to go cut of its way to prepare for the economic existence of anyone else but itself. Therefore, our present prosperity, as far as employment goes, is purely accidental. It is accidental today as it was during the war of 1914 to 1918, when colored men were employed in different occupations, not because they were wanted, but because they were filling the places of men of other races who were not available at that time. Negroes are still filling places, and as time goes on and as the age grows older, our occupations will be gone from us because those for whom we filled the places will soon appear, and as they do, we shall gradually find our places among the millions of permanent unemployed. The thing for the Negro to do, therefore, is to adjust his own economic presence in readiness for the future. A race that is solely dependent upon another for its economic existence sooner or later dies. As we have in the past been living upon the mercies shown us by others and by the chances obtainable and have suffered therefrom, so will we in the future suffer if an effort is not made now to adjust our own affairs. So that is The Negro as an Industrial Makeshift by Marcus Garvey. On the next page, the title of this speech is, writing, The Lack of Cooperation of the Negro Race. The lack of cooperation in the Negro race. It is so hard, so difficult to find men who will stick to a purpose, who will maintain a principle for the worth of that principle, for the good of that purpose. And if there is a race that needs such men in the world today, God Almighty knows it is the race of which I am a member. The race needs men of vision and ability, men of character, and above all, men of honesty, and that is so hard to find. The greatest stumbling block in the way of progress in a race has invariably come from within the race itself. The monkey wrench of destruction is thrown into the cog of Negro progress is not thrown so much by the outsider, is by the very fellow who is in our fold, who should be the first to grease the wheel of progress rather than seeking to impede it. But notwithstanding the lack of sympathetic cooperation, I have one consolation, that I cannot get away from the race. And so as long as I am in the race, and since I have sense and judgment enough to know what affects the race affects me, it is my duty to help the race clear itself of those things that affect us in common. Lack of Cooperation in the Negro Race by Marcus Garvey. And I'll just see if I can find one more. Mind you, this book is this thick. So it's a great deal of speeches and information, covers a great deal of time. But there was a piece in here that I quickly saw on Emancipation. Let's see if I can find that again, because I think I moved it when I moved my piece of paper. actually, I stumbled on another one that I like. So I'll read this one. This one is titled Masters of Your Own Destiny. So I often have conversations with individuals, and I hear people, and sometimes we've had it with the influencers, we'll hear language such as, what are they going to do? Or somebody else is going to do something. And it comes across as though that Africans or African Americans are weak or solely at the mercy of someone else. So Marcus Garvey wrote, Masters of Your Own Destiny. I repeat that God created you masters of your own destiny, masters of your own fate, and you can pay no higher tribute to your divine master than function as man as he created you. The highest compliment we can pay to our creator, the highest respect to our risen Lord and Savior, is that of feeling that he has created us as his masterpiece, his perfect instrument of his own existence, because in us is reflected the very being of God. When it is said that we are created in his own image, we ourselves reflect his greatness. We ourselves reflect the part of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost. And when we allow ourselves to be subjected and create others as our superior, we hurl an insult at our Creator who made us in the fullness of ourselves. I trust that you will so live today as to realize that you are masters of your own destiny, masters of your fate. If there is anything you want in this world, it is for you to strike out with confidence and faith in self and reach for it, because God has created it for your happiness wheresoever you may find it in nature. Nature is bountiful, nature is resourceful, and nature is willing to obey the command of man. Man, the sovereign Lord, man who is supposed to hold dominion and take possession of this great world of ours. So, the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey, masters of your own destiny, often recognized as a man who organized more people, more Africans than any other man in modern, relatively modern history. This is from the Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey by Amy Jacques Garvey, with a preface by Tony Martin. And then I will end with, I've been reading over our 14 weeks from the Fierce 44, Black Americans Who Shook Up the World. And if I'm not mistaken, one of the 44 in here is, I thought was going to be Marcus Garvey. Let's see. Well, I was wrong. Marcus Garvey is not in here. But nevertheless, this is a great book, The Fierce 44. So I'm going to read one more thing from Marcus Garvey, and then I'm going to let Miss Starr come back on and see if there's anything else she would like to share. But there's been a lot of talk about Juneteenth and Juneteenth being around the corner. And there was a speech that Marcus Garvey gave on Emancipation Day celebration. I was going to read from that one. But you all know that Marcus Garvey helped to revive and restore the red, black, and green. We talked about once before about the Black Star Line, the ship that he created, shipping line. Many of our great folks that we think about, Malcolm X and his parents were Garveyites, Elijah Muhammad. A lot of folks have come out of the great movement of Marcus Garvey and the UNIA. So, Ms. Starr, why don't you come back on and give me a moment to find this section dealing with the emancipation, and I will come back and share one more item. I just need a moment to find something.
Hey, everybody. So, of course, Rodney is coming with the history. All right. He is the historian. Definitely love that aspect. You better come through with that, Marcus Garvey. And it's always timely. Our history, that's what we're about over here at Clever Communities in Action. But this is something that's reflected on a lot of times around Juneteenth. So yeah, come through with the Garvey, I'm still interested once made me aware of the fact that this was a port, did you say, for the Black Star Line.
Mm-hmm.
I need to know where that is. Like, I just feel like you can't drop that type of information and then, like, he really just said that all casually, like, it's Tuesday, right? Oh yeah, it's Tuesday. So that the Tidewater area was one of the ports for the Black Star Line. What?
Yes, indeed. So I have to. There's another box of books, and I'm sure my Race First book is in that box, and I'll look for it. And in that, like I said, in that book, it listed various chapters from around the country. So I found this speech. This was delivered on Emancipation Day at Liberty Hall in New York, January 1st, 1922. So again, context matters. January 1st, 1922. So I'm going to share this. 59 years ago, right? 59 years ago, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring 4 million Negroes in this country free. Several years prior to that, Queen Victoria of England signed the Emancipation Proclamation that set at liberty hundreds of thousands of West Indian Negro slaves. West Indian Negroes celebrate their emancipation on the first day of August every year. The American Negroes celebrate their emancipation on the 1st of January of every year. Tonight, we are here to celebrate the emancipation of slaves in this country. We are the descendants of men and women who suffered in this country for 250 years under that brutal institution known as slavery. You who have not lost trace of your history will recall the fact that over 300 years ago, your forebears were taken from the great continent of Africa and brought here for the purpose of using them as slaves. Without mercy, without any sympathy, they worked our forebears. They suffered, they bled, they died. But with their sufferings, with their blood, which they shed in their death, they had a hope that one day their posterity would be free. And we are assembled here tonight as the children of that hope. I trust each and every one of you, therefore, will realize that you have a duty which is incumbent upon you, a duty that you must perform, because our forebears who suffered, who bled, who died, had hopes that are not yet completely realized. They hoped that we as their children would be free, but they also hoped that their country from whence they came would also be free to their children, their grandchildren, and great-grandchildren at some future time. It is for the freedom of that country, that motherland of ours, that 4.5 million Negroes, as members of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, are laboring today. This race of ours gave civilization, gave art, gave science, gave literature to the world. But it has been the way with races and nations. The one race stands out prominently in the one century or in the one age, and in another century or age, it passes off the stage of action, and another race takes its place. The Negro once occupied a high position in the world, scientifically, artistically, and commercially. But in the balancing of the great scale of evolution, we lost our place, and someone other than ourselves occupies the stand we once held. God never intended that man should enslave his fellow. And the price of such a sin or such a violations of heaven's law must be paid by everyone. As for me, because of the blessed past, because of the history that I know, so long as there is within me the breath of life and the Spirit of God, I shall struggle on and urge others of our race to struggle on to see that justice is done to the Black peoples of the world. Yes, we appreciate the sorrows of the past, and we are going to work in the present that the sorrows of our generation shall not be perpetuated in the future. On the contrary, we shall strive that by our labors, succeeding generations of our own shall call us blessed, even as we call the generation of the past blessed today. And they indeed were blessed. They were blessed with a patience not yet known to man, a patience that enabled them to endure the tortures and the sufferings of slavery for 250 years. Why? Was it because they loved slavery so? No. It was because they loved this generation more. Isn't it wonderful? Transcendent. What then are you going to do to show your appreciation of this love? What gratitude are you going to manifest in return for what they have done for you? As for me, knowing the sufferings of my forefathers, I shall give back to Africa that liberty that once enjoyed hundreds of years ago, before her own sons and daughters were taken from her shores and brought in chains to this Western world. No better gift can I give in honor of the memory of the love of my foreparents for me, and in gratitude of the sufferings they endured, that I might be free. No grander gift can I bear to the sacred memory of the generation past than a free and redeemed Africa, a monument for all eternity, for all times. It's by the actions of the world, it's by the conduct of all races and nations, it is apparent that not one of them has the sense of justice, the sense of love, the sense of equity, the sense of charity that would make men happy and make God satisfied. It is apparent that it is left to the Negro to play such a part in human affairs. For when we look to the Anglo-Saxon, we see him full of greed, avarice, no mercy, no love, no charity. We go from the white man to the yellow man, and we see the same unenviable characteristics in the Japanese. Therefore, we must believe that the psalmist had great hopes of this race of ours, which he prophesied. Princes shall come out of Egypt, and Ethiopia shall stretch forth her hands unto God. If humanity is regarded as made up of the children of God, and God loves all humanity, we all know that, then God will be more pleased with the race that protects all humanity than with the race that outrages the children of God. And so tonight, we celebrate this anniversary of our emancipation. We do it not with regret, on the contrary, we do it with an abiding confidence, a hope and faith in ourselves and in our God. And the faith that we have is a faith that will ultimately take us back to that ancient place, that ancient position that we once occupied when Ethiopia was in her glory. Marcus Garvey, speech delivered on Emancipation Day at Liberty Hall, New York City, January 1st, 1922. As he says, 59 years after emancipation.
That's the part I couldn't get over. Like, as you were reading that powerful literary work, that's what just kept resonating with me. 59 years.
59 years. So when we talk about our history sometimes, and we talk about from whence we've come, you know, no man is perfect, no woman is perfect, but the hope, the brilliance, what Marcus Garvey talked about, the patience, the fortitude, the commitment, the will to be able to see generation after generation after generation not be free, yet maintain that hope and faith that one time a generation would be free. And what would those expectations be? So with my brother who's sitting to my right here, he's not on camera, and we were talking a little bit earlier.
Bring him on.
we were teasing a little bit about how sometimes today, if our internet goes down for an hour, we get frazzled. If we are quarantined for 14, 15 weeks, we get frazzled. Our ancestors, 250, 300 years enslaved, yet somehow was able to offer us hope and faith and skills and love and power, that we are here today having this conversation with the ability to set the stage for another 100 years. And so when the influencers come up here, that's what I think about. When we're having these conversations, I see young people out there in the streets saying Black Lives Matter. That's what I'm thinking about. But I'm also thinking about that last word that Marcus Garvey had in that speech. It's not just for us, it's for all of humanity, because God must have thought that Ethiopia would stretch forth in all its glory and provide that leadership to the world. So those are the types of things that I think we need to remember and read, even in the midst of the challenges that we face today. There's that old saying, I guess it's in is it in Proverbs or Ecclesiastes or somewhere, that talks about nothing new being under the sun. And whatever we face today, our ancestors have already shown us the way. We just need to take the brilliance and the technology and the opportunity that we have today and combine it with their faith and their ingenuity. And truly the world can be what it is that we want it to be, because it's already been written that that's the way it's supposed to be.
How does William feel about that?
Oh, you gonna get him started? You want to get started on that? Huh? You need to come over here to the screen if you're gonna get started. What time is it? Oh, it's after 8 o'clock. You gonna ask my brother a question, and we have passed the hour.
But I can tell you missed it. I'm like, Rodney is on the road.
You saw I was deep in a trance, right? So
let's get a quick closing word from William, and then we're gonna slide on out of here. Look, and he has the right attire on for the word. So
well, I'm gonna leave with this, because I was inspired by the young readers as well as what my brother said. But as he was reading, I was reading a transcript from when my third great grandmother was applying for a pension from the U.S. government. Her husband, my third great grandfather, William Jordan, fought in the Civil War with Company C, Regiment 7 of the U.S. colored troops. And they were involved in the Civil War and were actually involved in the siege on Appomattox when Lee surrendered. There were colored troops there, and his battalions were there to help make that happen. But she was applying for a pension. In order to get a pension after the Civil War, you had to tell your story of who you are to prove that you were the wife of William Jordan, who had fought in the Civil War. And so she's applying in about 1894 to get a pension, because that's when he passed. So she had to apply for a pension, and she had to prove that she was his wife. And so they were married before the Civil War, and there was no documentation of when they were married, because under slavery, a Black family, husband and wife, could not be married. So there was no public documentation of their marriage. However, they were married, and turns out that she, Eliza Jordan, or Perry Jordan, was free at the time they got married. Her family was free, and he was enslaved. And so they had to get permission from his slave master, a John Studdard, for him to marry her. And so he allowed them to be married, but they weren't officially married. And he would allow him to leave the plantation that he worked on on the weekends to go be with his family, who was free further down the road. And he was also able to go on Wednesday nights to be with his family, but the rest of the time he had to stay on the master's plantation. After the Civil War, they were able to get married officially. So they got married at a church. But prior to the Civil War, their marriage didn't count because his master could have sold him down the road anytime. And so when you think about his troop, his sacrifice, because he was a slave, and when he was freed, he was drafted into the Civil War. And because we know he was in Maryland, and Maryland was a slave state that fought on the side of the Union. So when Maryland freed its slaves in 1864, he was drafted in the Civil War and became part of the U.S. colored troops. And actually, his platoon or his troop company was there at Juneteenth when they're down in Texas. So he traveled everywhere from Virginia to Appomattox to the Siege of Richmond, down to Florida, South Carolina, down to the Sea Islands, and all over by train and boat to fight in the Civil War. And before he was, they basically discharged him down in Texas because he was guarding the border in 1866 and made his way back. So, we played a role. And so when Marcus Garvey and others are talking about freedom and removing the chains of slavery, it wasn't someone else who removed the chains of slavery. We removed them ourselves.
Amen.
Tell the truth, okay?
There you go. So, so when y'all celebrate the governor's proclamation, celebrate yourselves.
Okay. Let me add a new ticker. Speak on it. All right.
We might come back for the celebration Friday night. So we might come back for a little bit of the celebration Friday night with the influencers. So
okay, well that would be great. And so let's we got to wrap it up, but I do want to say thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to Paul for coming up here. He did such a wonderful job, and to you, Rodney, and your brother for bringing that important historic context in there and that inspiration. What a wonderful way to end things. And the last word of your brother, I mean, that's mic drop right there. That's how we want to end this. That's what this organization is about. Us telling our own stories, us promoting us, okay? Not getting it from outside sources. Tell the truth, speak it, tell it like it is, okay? And a few things that we want to take care of. You guys, we sign up to read, okay? We appreciate everybody tuning in, but we need everybody on that sign up sheet. You can find it. It's pinned on the Facebook page. So if you're following us through YouTube, just go to the Clever Communities in Action Facebook page, and you can find it pinned up there. If you're following us on Facebook, then you just scroll up to the top and it's there. It's always there. It never moves. Okay. We update it on Thursdays. So you still have some time to sign up for Thursday of this week. And we're going to go ahead and add the slots for next week as well. We're going to try to go ahead and get those up there and sign up. Tell some people who know some people. You come up here. Y'all know if you've been following the village, it's a welcoming environment, okay? So come on up here and sign up to read so we can have more people up here, more voices, more of y'all. We know it's summertime, but it's always literacy time as well, okay? So get your beautiful faces on up here and read. And the other thing, we want to thank everybody who ordered merch, everybody who has ordered some of our t-shirts, our banging, lovely t-shirts. Thank you to everybody who has ordered and who ordered the Juneteenth challenge as well. We hope that you guys are working on the challenge, the daily items. And as for the merch, so it's looking like the processing time is going to be a little longer than we expected, but I promise your things are coming, okay? So just hold tight with us, okay? Be a little patient. Hold your mute. Oh, your mule. And we're going to get those shirts to you, and we're going to be rocking them as a village, as a family, because we have to wait on ours too, because we ordered shirts. So just hold up, and we all going to be good as a family. Okay. I promise great things are coming to those who wait. So with that said, I don't have anything else that I need to share, except the fact that these teams, these influencers are coming tomorrow and they're taking over and they got some things to say. So I'm telling you, you pull up with your popcorn or your ice cream or whatever your snack is, your dinner, and you want to be there or be square at 7 p.m. Okay, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rodney, anything else you want to say?
No, I'm a sticker for time and we're over. So, but I appreciate the opportunity and glad my brothers popped in, was able to join the village, and we'll initiate him before he heads back to DC.
Got to, but that means he's got to read.
That's right.
All right then. Well, y'all have a great evening. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all be safe and be well. Peace.
All right.
Look, mommy, community in action. But oh my, let us down to that. Look, daddy, there's a book for me too. But oh my, let us down to that. Creative, affirming, and culture for me too. Look, granny, let us down to that. Look, granny, let us down to that. Look, granny, let us down to that. Learning and exploring my history, you see. Look, mommy, let us down to that. We confident, we practice and develop fluency. Look, daddy, let us down to that. Families, they bond and they representing me. Look, granny, let us down to that. Look, I'm here, let us down to that. Nice, I see, let us down to that.
So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while we represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers to leaders, they hold it down where they have to sit. So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while you represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers to leaders, they hold it down, yeah, they have a sit.
Look, mommy, community in action. Well, oh my, let us down to that. Look, daddy, there's a book for me too. Well, oh my, let us down to that. Creative, affirmative culture for me too.